What a great panel. I think it's always so valuable to hear a first-hand recount from our sellers. And we've heard from a number of amazing Amazonians throughout the day sharing valuable knowledge and insights to help you, the seller, navigate the Amazon Australia store. And ultimately, for you to feel empowered and in control of your brand and products on amazon.com.au. To introduce myself, I am Nick Monetis. I lead the connection of our selling partners, most of you here today, to our third-party service provider networks. Now, we hear a lot of different interpretations of what a third-party provider is, but please let me break this down for you. There are two key elements of this on the Amazon Australia store: the Selling Partner App Store and the Service Provider Network, both available via a QR code above me. The Selling Partner App Store lists and features integration solutions to connect your e-commerce business to our Amazon store via an API integration. These integration partners offer services like connecting your Shopify, Magento, and but not limited to WooCommerce e-commerce storefronts, as well as offer inventory and order management solutions, shipping solutions, analytics and reporting, essentially taking a number of services offered on Amazon Seller Central and feeding them to a holistic platform which you may manage the majority of your sales channels on. The other side of the equation is our service provider network, which features comprehensive third-party providers offering services like compliance management, cataloging, logistics, FBA preparation services, ads optimization, tax partners, enhanced brand content, and a number of other valuable services. Now, I must stress that these partners do work agnostically to Amazon Australia, and it's important for you to discover and scope the appropriate solution for your specific needs. Today, outside this theatre, you had the opportunity to mingle and meet with a number of our sponsors. These are some of our third-party providers, here to help power your Amazon store with you and for you. We are here today to learn the how, the why, and the when to best leverage Amazon's third-party provider networks, which is why I am excited to facilitate a panel with a few of these providers. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the following. Please hold your applause until I prompt you. Introducing first, Jim Vrondis, Country Manager of World First Australia. World First is a payment service provider. World First offers you, the seller, an ability to settle funds in their One World account in multiple currencies. They provide you with the ability to manage your currency risk from the point of sourcing your products all the way to settlement of your sales in a World First issued foreign currency account. Welcome, Jim. Next to the stage is Joe Coxell, co-founder of Totality. Whilst Totality is by definition a local business based on the Northern Beaches, they are a fast-growing third-party provider in our service provider network, with a team of specialists to support all facets of a seller's journey in the Amazon store. Totality offers a number of services from A+ content to ads optimization using their world-class technology, specializing in compliance management, all the way to full-service account management. Welcome, Joe. And to complete our panel, introducing Fern Jones-Middleton, Chief Operating Officer of Omnivore Software. Omnivore offers an integrated solution to connect your e-commerce store to an omni-channel environment, opening up new aggregated sales channels for your business, all to be managed in one simple, UX-friendly interface. Welcome, Fern. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming our panelists for today. Thanks. Wow, what a day. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Wow, how comfortable are these chairs? Aren't they just the perfect fit? So soft, exactly what I needed after your introductions. Speaking of the perfect fit, let's kick the panel off and let's start with you, Jim. What I really want to know, conscious we're all a little different here in our service offerings. How do your respective businesses best align with the sellers you're helping?
Sure, thanks Nick, and I just want to say thank you for having us and give us this opportunity as well today. We've been part of the service provider network for around 5 years now, so pretty early on since the Amazon journey in Australia started, and we're considered within the Amazon world as a payment service provider. So we help small businesses and e-commerce brands both with their supplier payments, making them easy, fast and secure, but also with foreign currency collections. And we're doing that for 20 years. So we started in the UK, in London. We've now got over 1 million customers worldwide for whom we help save money with their cross-border payments and also provide other solutions to help protect their cash flow and boost profit margins.
Amazing. Jim, World First is a subsidiary of...
Yeah, so we started in the UK 20 years ago. In 2019, we became part of Ant Group. So definitely have strong relationships for sourcing from China as well, and payment solutions for importers, obviously sourcing goods from China.
Awesome, thank you. And Joe, same question, but we'll work our way down. How do you align to the sellers that you're helping?
Thanks for having us, and thanks everyone for coming along today. Emma from Swarovski just alluded a little bit to what Totality do, but ultimately we're an Amazon mastery agency, and we focus on accelerating Amazon sales growth for brands both in Australia but also overseas. So there's a few Amazon agencies here today exhibiting outside, and what you tend to find is that agencies will often offer full service management as being an option, and what that looks like for a brand is that we take the reins of your account, we do all the hard work for you, and basically you kind of look at the results at the end of the month, but we kind of really manage that account for you. The alternative is that some agencies, and certainly Totality, we actually also box off these services, so we offer individual services. So if you don't need the full service management, or you don't want that full service management, we can also help you with specific services. So to give you an idea of what that might look like, there is content creation. So creating compelling content on like A+ content, brand store, compelling imagery, all those kind of things that you've already heard about today. Advertising services, so advertising, as we all know after today, is very much key on your selling journey, and basically that helps to drive traffic, drive conversion. Account audits as well, so you might want Totality or an agency to kind of get under the bonnet of your Amazon store and work out where there's opportunity to improve. Also there is overseas expansion as well. And also inventory management. So that was mentioned on the previous panel. It's sometimes a bit of a fine line between having too much inventory and not having enough. So we work with brands to help them to manage that and how they actually do that within FBA. So overall, I would say that the objective of agencies such as Totality is ultimately to drive sales. So it's very much a mutual objective, and we certainly kind of work as an extension of your brand.
I love the ability for a seller to cherry pick the service offering that they might actually need rather than just get something that they don't want. So I love that approach through Totality. Fern, Omnivore.
Yes.
How does Omnivore align with sellers? Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks, Nick, and it's so good to see so many sellers out there. Omnivore was founded about 12 years ago in Australia, and it was founded really to support small, medium and large sellers to sell on multiple channels like Amazon and your own web store or anywhere else that people are searching for your products. So essentially, of the two types of selling partners that you mentioned at the beginning, we are a partner who integrates directly with Amazon via the APIs. And so what that means is we can, instead of individually going into Seller Central and doing tasks manually, we can do a lot of the bulk, hard, boring tasks that you might otherwise do. And that can save you a lot of time. So we make it really easy to connect your web store with Amazon to save you time and improve your experience when selling on Amazon.
Amazing. We're talking tech now, right?
A little bit, yes.
Okay,
it's not
cool.
very sexy.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure. No, amazing. Very good. And I think generally speaking, look, we've got a good idea of what the businesses do, what you're trying to achieve, but I want to drill down a little bit deeper here now. And I might start with yourself, Joe. Why would a seller choose a third-party service provider? What's the option the seller's going to weigh up before choosing a third-party provider like Totality? And ultimately, what's the benefit?
Yeah, sure. I guess it depends on the brand and the stage they're at, and it tends to be around resources, which is kind of the staff that you actually have and their expertise, and also time as well. So Fern just mentioned time, and I think that's probably all of us struggle with having enough time to do everything with brands. So that's when we tend to get people coming to us. So either you might come to us right at the start of your journey. So you go, I don't want to do this all myself. I need some help from the experts. So we can actually help you to launch your brand, get you all going, get all your listings up, and then get you really selling well. But actually a lot of the time, and a lot of the people we've been speaking to today, are people who've already been selling for a while, and maybe they've just found that they're maybe a bit underwhelmed by the revenue that they're getting. They might have, exactly know what the issue is that they're trying to deal with, and they want us to help them solve that. Or they may have absolutely no idea at all as to why they're not seeing the sales results that they want. So that's when we kind of get involved. And sometimes it is that people feel they need to do it themselves first, and then they want to come to an agency afterwards. So yeah, I guess in terms of, that's the timing. I guess with the expertise side of things, I think what people find is that Amazon can be quite complex. So we have a team of Amazon experts, and it's very difficult for people to stay abreast of all the different policies, the trends, the process changes, and to be able to keep on top of that whilst also managing all the rest of your brand and the goings on with different channels as well, can be really difficult. So what we can do is actually just be the experts for you, and it's quite helpful. And I think sometimes people are a bit nervous about handing over the keys to somebody, but it's very much a partnership. It's not about just giving over your brand control. It's really about partnering and have somebody who is you're proud to kind of have representing your brand.
Amazing. And then, we obviously heard in the prior panel with Swarovski, luxury jewelry brand. Is there a size of seller that you work with? Is it only these big brands, or do you also work at the lower end?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a whole range of sizes, of categories. To be honest, so far, I think there's nobody that we can't help in some way. And I think it's like Swarovski, for example, have got a really capable e-commerce team, but they've just chosen to actually engage with an expert within the Amazon side of things within Australia. But also we have startup brands where they just know that they're not going to be the one to keep on top of all this Amazon stuff all the time, because they want to focus on other strategic areas of their business. Or again, as I say, you don't have to get us doing everything. It could just be little bits and bobs depending on what your requirements are. So I think probably the preconception is that it does need to be large brands to be able to engage an agency, but that's where it's definitely not one size fits all.
Amazing. I think that's good to hear. And just to clarify for everyone in the room, we'll continue the flow. Fern, what's the key role and function that Omnivore plays in helping connect the seller to Amazon? Mm-hmm. Why is that important?
Okay. As I said at the beginning, we try to make it easy to connect your existing web store. So if you're already selling on Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, or you've got your products in some other system, Omnivore can take those products and get them onto Amazon more easily for you. So we try to focus on three things. One is the listing creation. The second thing is inventory syncing, and then the third is also your orders. So I'll kind of just talk through those three things separately, if that's right.
Go for it.
Great. So listings. We know it's quite difficult to create listings on Amazon. I think you we hear that from our customers, and there is often a lot more data that's required on Amazon to what you may already have. So we try to make it as easy as possible to create those listings and create them in bulk. So if you were going to create one listing on Amazon through Amazon Seller Central, if you've got all of the data, it can still take you 10 minutes per product. And obviously, if you're selling more than 50 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 products, it's going to take you a very long time to do that. So Omnivore gives you the ability to create those listings in bulk, and you can set rules, and you can also tailor pricing and add additional content such as keywords and bullet points and things like that. So there's quite a lot of help to get your listings correct on Amazon, and we know how important that is. I think there's probably been 5-10 people that have already mentioned that today already. And so that's the listing side of things. The second thing is really the inventory. And if you are selling on multiple channels, so you've got your own website, you've got Amazon, and you may have other channels as well, making sure that your inventory is up to date across all of those channels is really important. No one wants to oversell and ruin their seller rating. So we can keep the inventory synced between, for example, Shopify and Amazon in almost real time. The third thing is orders. So if you are fulfilling orders yourself on Amazon and you're also fulfilling orders from other channels, Omnivore can take the orders from Amazon and send them back to your Shopify or your other e-com platform. And that means that you can just fulfill all of your orders from the one place. We then also send the tracking and the carrier and inventory, sorry, not the inventory, the tracking and the carrier codes back to Amazon. If you're doing fulfillment by Amazon, yep, Omnivore can still create those listings for FBA, and any orders from FBA do come into Omnivore so that you can see all of your Amazon orders in the one place. So those three things really just help you to save time, get better listing quality, get more listings up, and so it not only saves you time, but you can also make more sales as well.
I love the empowerment. That's what it sounds like. I think with a lot of it, you are the connector, right?
Yes.
You are the connector of the source platform where all the product data is held straight to Amazon ultimately. So
Yep.
that's, I think everyone loves ease and saving time where possible. And it's good to hear you can scale with that.
That's right.
Amazing. Jim, we haven't forgotten about you on the end there, I promise. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I studied economics. I'm an ex-banker. I've got a passion for finance and currencies. Where do we begin with World First? What problem can you solve for these sellers here?
I didn't know that about you, Nick, but we share something in common there in terms of an interest for foreign financial markets in particular. And the Australian dollar can be very volatile, which for those of you in the audience that are either sourcing from overseas or selling overseas, those fluctuations in the currency can have a big impact on your profitability and your cash flow. We've seen only in the last month the Australian dollar's gone from 64 cents to 68 cents and in between there. So it's around a 6% fluctuation over a month. So, you know, think about that 6% fluctuation can obviously impact your profitability. So there's three things that we can do. One to help protect cash flow and smooth out that cash flow and that profit margin through products like a forward exchange contract. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Secondly, in terms of just reducing costs, obviously the profit is in the sourcing when it comes to selling. It's about sourcing good products, but also obviously reasonable prices. And so that's where we can help as well. So with World First, there's no account opening fees. There's no ongoing monthly subscription fees like some other payment service providers or banks out there that may charge ongoing fees. It's free to open an account, which means we can pass on some of that as well into the foreign exchange savings. So when you're going to pay a supplier, offering great rates means you can reduce your purchasing costs as well. And getting funds there, thirdly, quickly. So fast payments are critical. 90% of our payments reach the supplier within 1 day, and in fact, with the World account, you can move funds cross-border in real time. Why is that important? So relationships with your suppliers can be strengthened or ruined through the payment process, and I see some people nodding heads here in front of me. Yeah, hopefully you haven't been in that situation yet, but think you're on the other side of the fence, right? You want to get paid as quick as possible as well, and that tension within the relationship can be avoided if you can get funds to the destination quickly and efficiently. So coming back to protecting cash flow, which is probably the most difficult part for particularly new sellers. If you've got credit terms, which if you can negotiate credit terms with your suppliers, you should, or you should try. So what does that mean? That means instead of paying 100% up front for your supply, maybe you can pay 50% or 20 or 30% and get some credit terms so you can pay the balance in maybe 30, 60, 90 days' time. That means that you can get your goods onboarded, you can get them into an FBA, you can get them to your customers before you actually have to pay for those goods in full. And there are other financing solutions. I know Choco Up, another service provider partners out the front here, and they can provide some financing options as well, so you don't have to pay for the full amount up front. But what that then does is create some foreign exchange risk. So you may pay 30% today, and in 60 days' time, you've got to pay your other 70%. Well, what's that going to cost you in Australian dollars in the future? That rate is moving up and down, as we said before. So what you can do is lock in a rate today for a future transfer. So you know today exactly what your Australian dollar cost will be for those goods in 60 days' time. In fact, you can do it for up to 2 years in advance if you have that certainty to lock in the rate. So we find that from the importing side, it allows sellers to smooth that cash flow by knowing their costs into the future and lock down that profit margin when you're selling online. And if you're selling overseas, then you've got your sales revenue as well that's at risk. So you're pricing in US dollars, for example, and your customers are paying in US dollars, but if those funds are then going to be converted into Australian dollars, how do you know how many Australian dollars you will end up with when the rate's always moving? So that forward exchange contract can work in both ways. You can help secure your costs for your supplier payments, but it can also help fix your sales revenue when you're selling in foreign markets.
So I'm hearing control. You're giving control back to these people in the room, right?
Definitely.
Ultimately. Awesome.
Can I use one for online shopping? Overseas online shopping?
Unfortunately, it's for businesses only, so if you're buying on behalf of your business, yes.
I'll have a word to my boss. He's in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
Amazing. We'll keep it moving. Opening to the whole panel now. I think the burning question is, when should a seller engage with you? How would a seller know that the right time is now? And if you want all these aspirational and experienced sellers in the room to leave with one critical piece of information from this panel about our third-party network, what is it?
I might go first with that one then. I just touched on it before. Like the profit is in the sourcing. So that's the one thing I think you can leave here thinking about, is that when you're sourcing product, or when you're talking to your suppliers, that's the point of which, if you think about that negotiation process, right? If you could save 5% in costs from your cross-border payments, that's 5%. That's very hard to actually get from a negotiation sometimes, right? Or even 10%. So I'll say in terms of engaging us, depending on where you are in that journey, if you're just starting out and you're starting to source, then you can jump on our website. It's free to sort of open an account and get a rate, so you can actually compare the cost in Australian dollars today, because these goods are obviously being priced in a foreign currency. So how do you benchmark what that might cost you today against what the bank might be charging you for their currency services? So jump online, and if you haven't already visited our stand right out this door at the front, you can grab a copy of this book if you haven't got it. I think there's a few left, which has got great information about selling on Amazon and how through the partners like us and others, you can get the most out of your online store.
Awesome. Joe, same kind of question. When should a seller engage, and what's the one piece of critical information about our provider networks you want them leaving with?
Yep. I guess on the basis of what Jim just said as well, I wish I'd known that much about sourcing when I started selling, because absolutely, if you do know those things, you can save a lot of money. I guess I've already talked about kind of when, I suppose, within Amazon agency terms. In terms of the piece of advice, I would say, and this is having, working with my own brand as well and having been a seller, I think it's just pick your battles and work out actually where do your strengths lie and where do you need help. And I think sometimes that's a really pivotal question, to just take a step back, just step out of the bubble for a second and just say, how am I going to be able to get selling and actually get the best, effectiveness and return on investment for my brand as soon as possible? Because I think there's a lot of sellers that, to be honest, we were exhibiting this time last year, and there's some people I've seen from last year, and people are saying, I wish I'd started earlier. And I think there's always really an opportunity to procrastinate about these things. But I think if you work out where's your weakness and where can you actually get somebody to help. And I think with the providers that are outside, I think there's somebody from each part of that journey really within your Amazon selling. So I would just say, try not to just spin your wheels doing things that you may not be the expert in. And I know you said one thing, but I'll add one more thing, Nick. It's this summit only happens once a year, and with the virtual world that we're in, it's actually really rare to get a chance to meet people face to face. So we are the last session, and it's probably really tempting just to go out and leave for the rest of your day, but do try and kind of visit the booths. We'd love to meet you as well, and if you don't get a chance to meet myself or the other co-founder, then drop us a note. But I think now is the chance. You don't want to wait till next year to work out what kind of providers do you actually gel with, and I think it's all about that partnership. Who can you actually think you could work with? I think that kind of relationship building is really, really key.
I think that's very valuable insight, so thank you. And sorry, Fern, just to close with you then, when should a seller engage with you, and what's your one piece of critical information for everyone here?
One piece of critical information. I think just try something and try it as quickly as you can, because if you're using, say, for example, Shopify, you can install our app in a couple of minutes and you can see if you think it's going to work for you. And that doesn't take very long to do that. So instead of umming and ahhing and trying to work out what the best thing to do is over a period of months, just try it. So that's the first thing. In terms of engaging with us, if you are new to selling on Amazon or other channels, then you can work with us. And we've been doing this for 12 years now, so we're quite familiar with marketplaces and understand how they, not marketplaces, sales channels, and how they work, and also Amazon and the e-commerce platforms. So there is a wealth of knowledge in our team, and you can get up and running a lot faster, and your learning curve will be a lot shorter. So you'll get to where you want to go a lot faster. If you're already selling on Amazon, you can still use Omnivore. We can link up with existing ASINs or listings on Amazon, and then we can sync your inventory and do other automations and things like that for you. So, anytime we're out there, come and have a conversation with us. There's green T-shirts and.
Amazing. Jim, you're also holding a book there, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realise
held
you
it up
published a
before.
book.
Beautiful, yeah.
It is made for Amazon. Yeah.
Amazing. I think just to offer a little summary for all of you of this panel today, there's evidently third-party providers who are resources to help you power your Amazon store. And if you haven't already, please do take some time to engage the sponsors outside the theatre. Talk to them about your Amazon store. If you don't have an Amazon store, talk to them about your thought process on launching the Amazon store. Explore our service provider network. Explore our selling partner app store. Make sure you bookmark the links from the QR codes. They're two separate programs, and they're all located within your Seller Central accounts as well. My panel today is just a select few, just to offer perspective and a little bit of guidance and a cross-section of what's on offer from our third-party network. I heard key themes around empowerment. I heard key themes around freeing up time. It's never too early to engage, and optimizing your investment on the Amazon store. I think are all great reasons for you all to want to engage and scope the appropriate solution for your specific needs. That'll conclude our panel, but everyone, please join me in thanking Jim, Joe, and Fern, your third-party service provider panel. Cheers. Thank you.